Hey everybody, it's Kendrick from Providence Tarot. I am going to be giving you a Leo full moon daily dose reading for today, the 28th of January. And I say that with a question mark because I'm like, I don't know what day it is. I do. I just have to look at my phone. I do know that it's Thursday. Anyway, so today I'm going to use the Urban Tarot, which I actually haven't used in a really long time. But since it's Aquarius season, why not change it up and do something different? These cards are very rectangular, yeah, and kind of long. So be patient with me as I shuffle them. This is going to be a collective reading. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Make sure that you like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. Definitely follow me on Instagram. It's Providence Tarot there, and my personal account is NYC Kendrick. And then you'll be able to navigate yourself, you know, from there. Okay, all right. I kind of get annoyed sometimes. So some of you guys are probably feeling annoyed right now because when the cards fall out like that, I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, extra stuff to deal with. But, you know, air sign. Right, I'm doing a reading, right? Okay, so let me cut these. And then I'm going to lay them back together. Wow, all right. And then I'm gonna lay some out here. It might be abbreviated here for us today. Maybe not as many cards as I normally would pull for this type of reading. But you got some extras here anyway. Okay, cool. We like that. That's nice and clear. Looks like a tree. Oh, the Fool, which is Uranus. And then this is also, you know, that energy of Aquarius, okay? It's also kind of like being on the precipice of something. There's like a new horizon. And also this is like feeling carefree or being carefree. You know, it is that energy of Leo and it is that energy of Aquarius at the same time. Just because it, you know, it's Uranus. But, you know, we got that full moon going on today. And it could also just be like you feel different. You know what I mean? It's almost like you're ready to like start something new, ready to go on a quest or do something that you haven't done before, be someone that you haven't been before, you know, acknowledge things that you weren't willing to acknowledge before. It's almost like you have a brand new perspective. And that's what the Fool card talks about. It's like not being held down or tied back by any, you know, conservativeness or any kind of like status quo, any of that. It's individuality and it is being very open-minded. So some of you are being asked to be open-minded right now and, you know, take some risks and things like that as we move forward and we go into like, you know, Aquarius season and we go further into the new year. You know what I mean? The Fool does talk about things that haven't been experienced before, but you're very much ready to have those experiences. And it is also talking about how you are detached from your relationships and how they might have influenced you in the past. It's like a brand new day, right? A new dawning of like who you are as a person and how you see society, how you perceive things and how you relate to society, right? And how you relate to your perceptions, because the Uranus is the esoteric ruler of Libra, okay? So let's get into these cards that have fallen out here, okay? Okay, so we have the Ten of Pentacles here, upright, right? And then we have the Five of Cups, okay? So there's been a wealth of disappointment, okay? So that's what we have, right? A wealth of disappointment in so many different areas, right? And the expectations that you may have had for something didn't live up to the expectations. Just because with the Wealth card here, and it being the Ten of Pentacles, it talks about how you think about things coming together and working out successfully, right? And we're also dealing with career changes and things like this, right? And just maybe some obstacles obstacles that we've had to overcome in career or in some projects that we were attached to. I need to make sure that there's like no water on the table because these cards are not like coated. So yeah, that's what we're talking about. And it's also disappointing relationships, disappointing jobs, or disappointing, disappointment that just came from emotional attachments that you had to things that weren't necessarily yours to own or yours to have forever, if that makes sense. And the wealth card is here. It could be a marriage for some of you guys, right? And girls and them and theys. It also, this wealth card is reducing to the Ace of Pentacles. So it's like you can have all the money in the world and you may not be satisfied. That's what a lot of us are learning. When the status thing does not always mean that you're going to have the emotional satisfaction that you get from that status. You know what I mean? Or from being seen in a way that you feel like other people would value you differently than they do now, if that makes any sense, right? So we're looking for emotional validation, and we're looking for a sense of self-value through the emotional validation that we might get from things or get from other people. And we're also putting an end to that, and we're realizing that it's worth it to put an end to that, right? We're saying self-value too at the end of the journey, at the end of the hardship, that type of thing, because this talks about worrying, getting to the end of something, worrying about that karmic ending, right? Or worried about being on that karmic path, or definitely highly considering the karma that has been attached to a path that you have been on for quite some time. You know what I mean? And that's very pivotal, and it's very existential. Okay, so let's go ahead and see what's at the center of this reading here. The Ace of Wands. There we go. We got new beginnings, new passion, new heart, new desires. And it's also talking about courage to take risks and courage to be the individual that you were meant to be. So your karma was to come here and be this individual person that you are, right? The aces are all related to the Sun card. They're all related to the Magician. They're all related to the Wheel of Fortune, right? So we're looking at that. But it's will, it's drive, it's action, right? So we're putting something into action and we're getting started, right? This is the fire. This is the torch. You carry the torch of your own energy that burns. You know what I mean? Your hearts, all of that. Your desire, your passion. What is your desire and what are your passions? And what do you want to achieve and how can you begin to start? Let's take it back to the start. It's like that Coldplay song, right? But let's see what's challenging you here. Oh, wow, the Queen of Swords, which is actually Libra energy. And this is also the artist, this is cardinal air. So this is being inspired and how your life inspires you. Life imitates art and art imitates life. So this is perspective. It's lateral perspective. It's taking yourself outside of yourself, right? And then it's also kind of like getting a good look at other people and coming up with this like perception of things, It's a very creatively driven perception of things. And it's something that isn't tangible, that can't be touched, but it can be experienced. You know what I mean? So that is also something that we're looking at, however that, resonates with you. But this is also realizing that your art and your inspiration is what helps to heal you mentally and emotionally, with the Queen of Swords being here. And then it also is attached to that, the Two of Swords, and it's attached to the Three of Swords, definitely. You know what I mean? And the Four of Swords. So, yeah. Getting that time to yourself, spending that quality time with yourself to be reminded of who you are and what your worth is, definitely on this Leo full moon during Aquarius season, right? And being inspired by everything and everyone positively. There are no negative experiences because there are only lessons, you know what I mean? And that's kind of like what the Painter and the Queen of Swords energy teaches us as well. Let's take a look at what's going on with these other cards here. Okay, so let's look at the past. We've got the Tower, right? So there were some things that ended in the past. Definitely, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty here. And we are moving forward past some things that were the failures, that were the disappointments here, right? So something was built up, and then, we had to let it go. Definitely, it may have not been easy, but it was definitely something that we had to do in order to prove to ourselves who we were and what we could handle, And sometimes what you can handle is really based on what you go through, right? And not what you don't go through. Okay, what you go through it determines your strength. Please. And if you've been through a lot, and not just some cute stuff, but if you've been through a lot, then you know what I mean. Okay, so can't nobody tell you nothing. With this Tower card being here, and this is individuality because it's Mars, and it's also determination, and it's competing with yourself and competing with life, and it also is survival because it's Mars. You know what I mean? Where is Mars right now? Mars is actually in Taurus. Taurus is a sign of survival. You know what I mean? And it is a sign of letting go, but it's like the struggle that we go through to let go, right? And this is not allowing you to struggle any longer. You can't struggle. If you struggle, then you're just going to you're going to get tired. You're going to get exhausted trying to struggle with something that's bigger than you. Okay, and that's Mars, and that's on Scorpio, that's on Aries, and that's on Capricorn. Okay, where it really is getting the most out of it. Okay, you better work. Now let's look at the Sun position. The Strength card. Of course, I was gonna say maybe it'll be the Sun, but it's the Strength card. Okay, we're working, we're doing it, we're living. We are definitely living up in here. It is dope. It's very much that. Okay, so the Strength card is talking about you having the courage to be who you are. In this deck, the Strength card is number 11, so it talks about balance, and also can you manage? Can you operate? Can you, handle your predations? You know what I mean? What you might have the impulse to do, how you react and how you respond. And this is related to that Justice card in a little bit, right? So it's like, are your actions justified? Yes, this is saying that your actions are justified. And then it's also saying that you might be dealing with a Leo energy, or you might even be dealing with a Libra energy, or you could even be dealing with an Aquarius or a Gemini. This is all of the air signs for sure, just because it's an 11 and that's where I go. And I know that this is soft base, but here we are. Okay. Also, this is like you don't have to always be inspired by the same thing, and the same things don't have to get the same response out of you as they always have. This is talking about how you have learned and how you have gained some perspective, but this is perspective of the self and the perspective of your, just maybe the pros and the cons, the positives and the negatives of being you. Some things come with the territory, right? And that's how we know we can get through it, because we know it just comes with the territory, right? With the Strength card being here. Come on. That's just how it be, right? We got a lot of fire up in here. We got a little bit of earth too, but fire and air. So relationships definitely won't be the same, right? And that's why the Five of Cups is here, and that Ten of Pentacles is there too, Right. High Priestess, time to heal. Definitely. You got 2 11s in a row. Definitely perspective, right? Healing from some things, right? This is 11, Roman numeral. Okay. And the Sun rules Leo, but the Sun is veiling Neptune, okay? And some people would say that Neptune is exalted in Leo. I give it to Pluto, you know what I mean? But Pluto and Neptune are both in, like, the Judgment card, right? So we're feeling very much that, but we're accepting what we have been forced to atone for, or what we are willing to atone for and with, but not without some destruction that had to come before. Okay? And then we have the High Priestess here in the Moon position. This moon is definitely good. Get into your ritual, honey. Do whatever you need to do. And be selfish about it, right? You got to be selfish about your healing. Hello? That's why Pluto is the esoteric ruler of Pisces. But then Pluto for me is exalted in Leo. But then Neptune, the planet that rules Pisces, is connected to that Leo energy. Y'all better work. Okay, the High Priestess. Get your music going. Get your crystals going. Get your food going. Feed your spirit. Right? What are you listening to? What are you smelling? What are you feeling? You know, it's the sensuality too. How can you create sensual experiences with your own energy and not with the energy of something else or something that like is the normal thing that you would attach it to? Indolence. Okay, so here we go. We have the 8 of Cups, and this is talking about needing to leave something behind. Needing to leave something behind that is like creating an obstacle for you and just making you feel stuck in the past, stuck in some, you know, emotional attachments that you have to the past, you know, and it's kind of like overpowering you in some degree. But then we're also kind of like off of that energy of the Strength card here, but I guess in this deck it would be the Justice card. So what's fair and what's not fair, you know what I mean? And this is telling you that, you know, you just had to do what you had to do. You had to be fair to yourself, ultimately in the end, you know? So it's like there was a lot that you put up with, right? We put up with a lot, and now we're not anymore. And that's everybody. Y'all put up with a lot from others, and you put up with a lot from yourself that you probably didn't really need to put up with, right? But you had to learn those karmic lessons, right? So you have to like not resent yourself, and you have to not resent others, okay, or the experience, because it taught you something that you needed to know in order to move on. Let's see what your last card is. Yes. I love it. It's the Abundance card, right? 3 of Cups. Okay, creating that safe. Let me give you another look at that. Creating that safe space. Okay, it definitely is healing. Being a mother to yourself, right? Being a mother to the inner child that lives inside of you, right? Talking to yourself about the feelings that you have towards things that were your own individual experience. You know, the things that you went through. This is definitely related to Neptune. It's related to the moon. It's related to the Empress. It's related to Pisces, okay? It's related to Cancer, all right? And it's also related to how you communicate with yourself and what your emotions are telling you, you know, and what you believe, right? Some of your emotions are illusions. Some of the things that you think are illusions, right? Don't allow yourself to take on the energy of others if it's unhealthy, okay? And you can invite in the right energy if you know what's good for you. You know, you definitely know what's not good for you, okay? This is Mercury in Cancer. Thinking about how, you know, thinking about how feelings, shared feelings, you know, shared emotions, a shared experience. This is talking it out with people who understand you. And this is kind of like feeling revitalized in some kind of way, shape, or form, you know. Now I feel like I'm being emotionally understood by people who have gone through what I've gone through as well. And this makes me feel pretty good, you know. And this is a very good card in terms of like feeling like you are getting what it is that you need finally, right? And the 3s do have a sense of finality to them just because they're related to the world, okay? So this is great. I like it. I'm going to end it here, and I tried to break them up just so I could post them in different parts on IG, because that's what we be doing. Like, share, subscribe, comment on the video. If I have to, if you are waiting on a reading for me, just know that I'm getting through them. You know, those energetic pulls be like, whoa, sometimes. But you know what? I just got to take the time out that I need, because I read like a lot, and I'm running around this city all the time. So, you know, I just got to be good to myself. That's why the High Priestess here is encouraging that, right? And then this is also kind of like, you know, healthy ego. All right. This is your time. It always has been. And be, you know, just be mindful of Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is definitely a time to heal and a time to feel the abundance of love that flows in and pours in from your, ancestors and from the people that you are connected to on a deep spiritual soul level, energetically, because this is Cancer, and Cancer is the 4th house, and the people that give you life are also the people that give you death, and the people that give you life are also the people that will die, hopefully before you, and they will be working for you, celebrating you, and pushing for your success, right, and your abundance of goodness and life's multiplicity from the other side, darling. Anyway, I am going to see you all later. Enjoy. Have a really great, dope Leo full moon. Hit me up on IG. I like talking and stuff. Bye.